we say goodbye to Susan. Well, not goodbye. You're welcome to stay here as long as you wish. And our next speaker, oh my goodness, I have the most amazing speakers. Always. Okay, let me find my bios again, and let's hope for smooth sailing and no tech issues. The speakers that are joining me now do not know that we started 20 minutes late on account of crazy technology. Okay, so my next guest, you will also equally love for different reasons. His name is Orick R. Quick, Sr. He is the proud owner of Oak Tree Publishing, LLC, and pastor of New Covenant Church of High Point, North Carolina. Orick has devoted his entire life to helping others bring their thoughts and ideas to life, whether on stage, in a book, or a musical album. Ooh, can't wait to hear more about that. Oak Tree Publishing has worked with countless authors, speakers, and artists to manifest the desired dreams of their clients. Orick has overcome multiple obstacles in his life, such as not one, but 2 deadly car accidents, which left him fighting for his life in a coma. Physically blind, brain damaged, confined to a body cast for 13 weeks, and has had to learn how to walk twice before the age of 15 years old. Oh my goodness. Also, Orick experienced the devastating event of his mother dying in his arms at the age of 15 years old. Okay, I think it's hard to lose your mother at any age, but at 15, that is just way too young. Orick would then fight through the diagnosis the doctors placed on him as a child. Graduating from North Carolina State University and earning his athletic football scholarship with a bachelor's degree in sports management was one of his greatest achievements. Orick's mantra is never allow your past to have a meeting with your future without your potential being present. Your greatest disappointment in life will not be that you didn't succeed, but that you failed to try. I totally 100% agree with that. Orick was a TV host for the Fox daytime talk show, The Preachers. And he was also featured, he was a featured guest on Dr. Oz show twice and appeared on the television show The Real, showcasing his Forever Candles. Orick Quick was also crowned as the #1 speaker in the nation after winning Grant Cardone's, because I knew about this, so I could hardly wait to get to it. After winning Grant Cardone's largest speaking competition called the Great American Speak Off. Out of 30,000, yep, you heard me right, 30,000 participants, Orick Quick emerged as the top speaker. Top 30,000. Okay, that's a good day, right? Orick Quick is a trailblazing motivational speaker, life coach, and mentor who has been married for 16 years to his lovely wife, Ashley, and they have 4 children, Victoria Kennedy Taylor and Orick Jr. And with that, I give you Orick Quick. Orick, welcome. Here we go.
Mary Ann, how are you?
I am amazing. I'm so excited to hear you speak and to have you speak on my show. Well, I've already heard you speak several times, so I can't wait to have you on here. I'm so excited. I'm so happy you're here. Yay!
Yes, I'm delighted as well to be with you and to be here with everyone else. Today is an amazing day. So I just want to say, number one, thank you, Dr. Marianne, for this amazing opportunity to speak and be able to inspire, to edify, to uplift individuals who may be going through something that they cannot fathom. It's hard for them to understand the storm that they're facing even right now. And so I consider myself a storm specialist. And it is my job to help you to navigate through the troubling waters of life so that you can learn how to walk on water of your issues, your problems, or concerns. And so I'm excited. So I want to just jump right into what I want to talk to you all about. As Marianne stated, I just won the largest speaking competition in the United States called the Great American Speak Off out of 30,000 participants. And I started my speech off with this title: I've got something to prove. I got a chip on my shoulder, and I've got something to prove. And this message is really dedicated to my mother, Rosetta Quick, as Marianne stated in my bio, that she passed away in my arms at the age of 15 years old. But once again, I am grateful to be with you all today. I've got a chip on my shoulder, and I've got something to prove. When my mother was pregnant with me, she was diagnosed with lupus. And the doctor told her, if you expect to live, you're going to have to abort this child. And my mom squared her shoulders and said, I will not give up on my baby. If it kills me, I'm going to make sure he lives. And as you can see, I'm here, but she's not. My name is Orick Quick, and Orick means oak tree, which means I've had to be strong for a very long time. But when my mom died, when my mother died in my arms, it felt like I got buried with her. But there were principles that resurrected my life. I'm going to give you all the first principle that's going to help you to be able to resurrect your own life. The first principle is never allow your past to have a meeting with your future without your potential being present. So the question is, what does that mean? In other words, your past is constantly bringing up accusations, trying to convince you that you're not worth living for, that everything that you've worked so hard for was for nothing. And so what I'm simply telling you today is that when you do not allow your past to have a meeting with your future, you are simply making a statement to life that I will not acquiesce to the demands of life. See, one of the things that depression does, depression creates a distorted image. The distorted image comes from your past. And if you will allow me to just dive into my past, back in 2016, I lost everything in a house fire. Me and my family, we didn't know what to do. And I'll never forget that night that I was crying on my knees, wondering what to do next. And when I left my home, just trying to walk down the street and clear my head, I sat down in someone's front yard, and there was a bridge to my right. I knew that bridge. I grew up on that bridge. But all of a sudden, I heard these voices say to me, you're a terrible father. You are a terrible husband, pastor. Why don't you just do your family a favor and jump off of that bridge? You lost your house in a house fire. You failed to save your home. And when I began to hear those voices trying to accuse me of something that was totally out of my control, I also heard another voice, a small, still voice that simply said, it's not true. What I'm simply saying to you today is that you're going to go through life and you're going to hear a lot of voices that are going to try its best to convince you to give up on your future. Never allow your past to have a meeting with your future without your potential being present. In other words, your potential is your attorney. It will defend your case. Your potential will stand up for you and say to you, he's worth fighting for. So whatever you do in life, don't allow, listen, your past is constantly going to try to accuse you of things. Well, you didn't do this by this age, and you're this and you're that, and well, you haven't done this by now, and all those accusations that are constantly swirling in your mind. You got to simply say, I refuse to have that conversation without my attorney. Come on now. In other words, there are times in your life where I know that all of us have made mistakes. All of us have done some things that maybe we regret or we wish we could do over, or whatever the case may be. But let me tell you something, that is in the past. And there's nothing you can do to change the past, but you can alter the future. So whatever you do, do not allow your past to have a meeting with your future without your potential being present. Because if you dive into your past, it's only going to create a distorted image in your mind. You've been to the circus, or you've been to the fairgrounds where you go into those buildings and have those distorted mirrors. And the job of a distorted mirror is to basically lie to you. If you stand in one of those mirrors, if you're tall, it's going to convince you that you're short. If you're skinny, it's going to convince you that you're overweight. It's the job of a distorted mirror is to lie to you. So what you got to do is understand that your past is out to create a distorted image in your mind. Once it convinces you of a distorted image that you look this way, even though you're not this way, that is when depression invades your mind. So that night of my house fire, man, I was full-blown depressed. I didn't feel like getting out of bed. And now, all of a sudden, we got to find somewhere where me and my family are going to live. I don't know what to do. Tears are running down my face. So that happened on a Friday night. But then Sunday morning, I am a pastor. I am a preacher. I am an encourager. What is my job on Sunday morning? My job is to encourage others. Well, let me tell you something. I didn't feel like encouraging anyone that morning. I didn't feel like talking to anyone. I didn't feel like praying for anyone. I didn't even feel like even facing anyone because I was broken. But what I'm telling you right now, the next principle I want to teach you, because it's going to help you to come out of any type of depressed state that you may be dealing with. Unexpected actions always create unscheduled miracles. On that Sunday morning, I was full-blown depressed. I didn't want to get out of bed. But that small, still voice spoke to me again and said, I need you to get out of this bed and go and encourage someone else. I said, no, I'm not going. I'm going to stay in this bed. Not knowing that staying in the bed only is going to make things worse. That sometimes running away from the problem only increases the problem. But if you have enough courage to run towards the problem, you can finally deal with what you are going through. You got to have enough courage to face adversity. And so that's what I did. I didn't have any clothes. My family didn't have any clothes except for some of the clothes that we grabbed in our hands. And I told my wife, I will be right back. The only thing that was open Sunday morning was Walmart. And I drove to Walmart and I bought a blue button-down shirt, some black slacks, and some slip-resistant shoes, whatever they had on the rack. But I made up in my mind that I was not going to lay down. And what I'm telling you right now, every single day, you have to make it up in your mind that you are not going to lay down, that you are not going to acquiesce to life. And it reminds me of a story that I tell individuals. There was a man who was full-blown depressed. He had 2 children, and every day his kids would come to him and say, "Dad, let's get out of the house. Let's go to the park. Let's have some fun." And on this particular day, he finally agreed to leave the home. And as his children were swinging on the swing sets and playing on the playground, he was full-blown depressed. He was paralyzed by worry and stress. And it seemed like he just couldn't even move because he was paralyzed from the depression. But all of a sudden, a white van drove abruptly down to the park, and 2 men jumped out of this white van, heading straight for his kids on the playground. They grabbed his children and ran back to the van. All of a sudden, like Superman, like Clark Kent turning into Superman, this man jumped off of this bench, got off of that bench, ran towards the white van, fought both of these 2 men by himself, and recovered both of his children. The question was, or the question is, how is it that this man was able to overcome depression in a moment, in a second? He was still depressed. He was still going through. But for that moment, he snapped out of it. He came out of that depression very, very quickly because he knew what he was fighting for. What I'm telling you today is that you can overcome any emotion, anything in your life that is trying to keep you captive if you know what you are fighting for. What if you fought for your dreams the same way you would fight for your kids? What if you fought for your vision the same way you would fight for your kids? What if you fought for your health the same way you would fight for your kids? Whatever you do, get off of that bench. Fight for your children. Fight for your life. Fight for your dream. Fight for it, because nobody's going to do it for you. If that man would have stayed on that bench while they were trying to kidnap his kids, he would have lost his kids that day. My question is, what have you lost because you refuse to fight for it? What I'm simply telling you today, you got to get off of the bench, because this is the thing. Your dream is going to supply jobs for families. So if you don't rise up, those families don't get fed. Those families don't get the provision that they need. Those families won't survive because you never arise to who you are supposed to be. Whatever you do, you gotta know who you're fighting for. And that's what got me out of that bed on that Sunday morning. I realized that it wasn't about me. I got out of that depressed state because I realized that it wasn't about me. And I went to my church, I preached, I taught, I encouraged, I did everything I possibly could, even with tears running down my face. It's okay to cry, it's okay. But what's not okay is for you to quit. If you got to cry through it, then you cry through it. If you got to scratch and crawl through it, whatever you got to do, you do whatever it takes to execute and manifest what your vision is. What I'm simply saying to you today is that even though I was laying in that depressed state, the other voices were attacking my mind, trying to convince me, you can't do that. You're depressed. You can't do this. You're down. You're out. You've lost. But I'm telling you today that you are the only person who determines whether you've lost or not. So what you got to do is, the next principle is ignore the opinions that oppose your position. Whatever you do, do not allow someone's opinion of you to dictate your response to your storm, to your trial, whatever you are going through. I don't care what anybody else says, because at the end of the day, it's not their life, it is your life. And I'll never forget that day. I was in college and I had big dreams, but I accidentally told my dream to the wrong person. You would think that you could tell your dreams to your instructor or your professor or someone that you think that's looking out for you, but you got to be very, very careful of who you reveal your dreams to, because sometimes misery loves company. And so I told my dream to one of my instructors. He said, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do? You're in college. You're a young man. What do you want to do? I said, well, I really want to transfer from this university to another university so I can play football for a Division I team. That's always been my dream. He took a pause. He looked me up and down and said, you're not going anywhere. You're going to get out here and you're going to party like everybody else. You're going to get lost in the shuffle. Your grades are going to slip and you're going to be trapped right here. As anyone would receive those words, you know that those words crushed me. I didn't show it right away, but when I got back home, tears began to fall down my face, and I began to wonder, okay, is it possible for me to transfer and execute this dream? But once again, that small, still voice said, who determines your future, him or you? And I said, I do. One of my favorite quotes is, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. You determine what type of tree that you are raising up with your words. So when I got back to school, I had a personal meeting with all of my instructors, and I asked them, what must I do in order to earn either an A or B in your class so that I can transfer? I was the first student to show up to class, and I was the last one to leave. I wanted them to know that I was all in. And that is what you have to do. And I ended up transferring from that university to North Carolina State University, go Wolfpack. And I'm telling you today, I had to ignore his opinions that oppose my position. That's all I'm saying today, is that no matter what you are going through, I need you to know who you are. I need you to know how much power you possess, that you can overcome any situation in your life. But you got to ignore what they say, because what they're saying, what they said about you is stopping you. It's hindering your progress. You got to be careful of who speaks into your life. You got to be careful of what they're saying. And listen, I'm not even, you got to be careful, because it could be a family member. It could be a coworker. It could be a church member. It could be a Sam's Club member. I don't know. But you got to be careful of what people are depositing into your spirit at all times. Because when they speak words into your life, those words are seeds. Seeds to be planted in your heart where they go to be germinated. And you got to ask yourself, have I been living my dream or trying to execute someone else's dream? Because some of us subconsciously are executing something that someone spoke over us. But I'm telling you right now, you got to make it up in your mind that I refuse to lose. And that was the mentality that I had. When I drove, I spoke to you earlier that I just won the largest speaking competition in the United States. But I want you all to understand how that came about. When I auditioned for this position 3 times before I got my yes. I need you all to understand that there are some dreams are worth fighting for. Yes, you got rejected the first time, but keep going back. Yes, you got rejected the second time, but keep going back. You got rejected the third time, but just keep going back. It reminds me of a story that I heard. There was this woman who kept going to this judge every single day. And this woman would show up and say, "Judge, someone has mistreated me. I'm just looking for justice." And the judge said, I'm not listening to that. I don't want to hear that case. Just get out of here, leave, because I'm not hearing that case. And she left in peace. But then guess what? She showed up the very next day. And the judge said, "Wait, didn't I talk to you yesterday?" She said, "Yes." "Well, what did I tell you yesterday?" "You told me that you were not going to hear my case." "Well, nothing has changed. Leave." And she left, and she came back the very next day, and the next week, and the next month, until she wore him out. She wore him out until I can imagine that all of a sudden he began to have dreams of this woman showing up in court. Until one day she showed up and he said, "Oh, I can't take it." "Woman, come to the front. Whatever you want, I will do it. Just tell me what you want, and I will execute justice on your behalf." She told him, and the judge gave her exactly what she wanted because she was persistent, because she did not give up. That is how it is with your dream. Whatever you do, keep the chip on your shoulder. Don't ever feel like, "Oh, it's too big, it's too astronomical, I don't know how." Whatever you do, just don't quit. And that's what I did. I drove to Fort Lauderdale 10.5 hours with no golden ticket. Might I add, you must have a golden ticket to compete in the competition. But they had a small speak-off the day before the competition started, and I won my golden ticket the day before the competition started. Whatever you do, don't you ever quit. Don't you ever wave that white flag. And from being in the top 130 top speakers in the world down to the top 30, from the top 30 to the top 15, and from the top 15 to the top 5, and then emerge as the #1 speaker in the nation. What I'm telling you today is that your dream, you're not waiting on your dream. Your dream is waiting on you. It's waiting on you to just put forth the first step. It's waiting on you to be persistent and don't give up. Your dream is screaming at you saying, Hey, don't quit. I'm right here. I just need you to be persistent. I'm right here. Don't give up. And so what I'm telling you today is that the reason why you're even hearing my voice right now is because my mom had a chip on her shoulder. That doctor told my mother to abort me because evidently I was not important to him. But my mom believed, and she said, I will not give up on my baby. Because she didn't give up on me is the reason why I am alive today. Whatever you do, don't give up, because your dream could actually save someone's life. And so I want to show you, I just came out with my brand new book. I've got a chip on my shoulder, and it just went #1 on Amazon in 3 different categories. You can go on Amazon and purchase that as well. But I also want to bring up another opportunity for you, for us to align ourselves, that I'm going to be traveling, speaking, and doing a lot of different things. But how amazing would it be if you could be on that journey with me? What if we wrote a book together? I got a brand new book coming out called I've Got Something to Prove. And you can co-author your book, your chapter in my book, and tell your story of resilience. Now, listen, not everybody's going to get in, because I need a story of resilience. I want to hear how you were on the bottom and how you made it to the top. I want to hear how you were stressed out and now things have gotten better in your life. I want to hear the stories of how you overcame the fact that your child passed away, and you overcame the divorce that was in your life. You overcame the health issues in your life. You overcame this, and those are the stories that I want in my book. And everywhere I go, guess what? Your story will follow. So when they read my book, I've Got Something to Prove, they're going to read your story as well. And guess what? Your contact information is going to be in your chapter. So anyone who reads my book will immediately say, hey, I also liked Marianne's story. And I want to reach out to her, and I want her to come and speak, or I want her to come and do this. So we're all taking this journey together. So if that is up your alley, that is something that you desire, you want to take this journey with me. Not to mention, guess what? It's guaranteed you're going to be Amazon's bestseller, okay? #2, you're going to fly out to Chicago, where I'm going to interview you at the studio in Chicago, and we're going to use that footage to promote your business as well. You can leave with that video as well. On top of that, you're going to enter into the speak off that we're going to have in Chicago as well, for a chance to win $500. The top speaker will leave there with $500. Oh, that's a great deal. So if that is you, this is what I need you to do. You can go to I'veGotSomethingToProve.com, or you can simply text me. I'm going to give you my phone number. I want you to text me right away, because we have limited spots, and so that I can, we can talk briefly, so I can see if this is going to be a good fit for both of us. And so I want you, text me immediately, because spots are running low. I need you to text me. I'm going to give you my phone number. I want you to text this number right away. It is 336-880-8259. Once again, 336-880-8259. If that resonates with you, you want to get your story out, you want to promote the story that you have of resilience, this is your opportunity. Everyone, once again, my name is Orick Quick, and I'm excited and delighted to be with you. And thank you again, Marianne, for this awesome opportunity.
Do I even need to explain why he won? I don't think so. You heard it. You heard it here, the #1 speaker in all of USA. Hello. How cool was that? So thank you so much, Orick. That was amazing. I am going to ask you to go to my Facebook page. You can also go into Connected Leaders Academy because I have it running live there as well. And on my page, you can share it too if you can. I know some people can share it, some people can't seem to share it. But if I could get you to put your phone number or whatever contact info you want to put into the chat where people can see it, that would be great. Thank you so much. I totally appreciate it. Love having you on here. Amazing, wasn't he? I know we can't hear any applause other than me right now, but honest to God, wasn't that amazing? Like, holy smokestacks. Thank you. That's a true professional speaker right there. You're looking at him. Woohoo!
Thank you so much, Marianne. Thank you for the opportunity as well.
Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Please stay with us for as long as you wish.